your setup for your color mixing. And first we are going to start with prepping for our watercolor. So you're going to need to clean out your shelves, get your drawing board. If you don't, you're going to have to scavenge for another one because everybody had a drawing board for that last drawing. So get your drawing board out, clean it off, prep it. Then you're going to grab some wax paper, some tape, your watercolor paper, and 2 circles for tracing, and a pencil. These are the things that you'll need for this exercise in class. So I will start by prepping the board. So you have your board cleaned off. You want to make sure that you have a smooth board, but we can't put water on these boards or they start to deteriorate really quickly. And so we have to protect them when we use them for water. So you're going to get a piece of wax paper, you're going to grab your tape, and you are going to tape it on all 4 sides. So here we have, I'm not taping them to the corners like I will when I actually have my watercolor paper there, but I do want to make sure it's smooth. So you're going to smooth it out. You don't want any kind of bubbles or folds right here in the middle where you're taping. And you always want to get down all 4 sides when working with water. Very important. So I'm going to smooth that out, and I have it. I'm just going to bend this over because I have my table all propped up on here for filming. So I'm just going to cut it like that. So this middle area is pretty smooth, and no water is going to go through there because we have a wax paper that will stop the water. Now I'm going to have my watercolor paper. I'm looking for the side with a little bit of tooth on it. And now I'm going to tape this more carefully. I'm going to tape all 4 sides to the corners, and you probably can't see it on camera, but I try to put this right about halfway. You can see it right in there. Now, it's very important that you tape off all 4 corners and 4 sides neatly with watercolor. So I know that we did this with pencil, but it's not, that's just to make some cool lines and stuff. Taping down your corners is really meant for watercolor because as we get our paper wet, it will change. It'll start to bubble up and it'll constrict. And then when it dries, it'll start to lay flat again and dry out. And the paper changes. And so it's really important for us to neatly tape down all 4 sides, so as our paper gets wet and it dries, it's going to lay flat, and this tape on all 4 sides will pull it dry and let it dry flat. Okay, so wax paper tape down first, and then more carefully tape down your watercolor paper. And I did forget to tell you all that this paper we know sucks. Or this tape is hard to work with, and I forgot to show you. Do this with your tape. Do that first because it puts little fibers on there and it makes it a little less sticky, so it won't rip your papers easily. I'm going to have to remind you guys of that in the beginning, but okay. And then we will finish this off. We're going to prep it for a color wheel. And so I used this as my 1 circle, my bigger circle, this little palette, and then I'm going to use this as my smaller circle. So I'm going to put this right in the middle. And where is my pencil? It should be sitting here, but I think a student has borrowed it for some reason. Okay. And now I'm just going to trace this around here lightly. And so I have a circle right in the middle. And then I'm going to take the smaller circle. Now we do have, there's a couple different sizes of these wooden circles. This is the smaller of the two. I like that one better because it gives me more color room. If you find anything around the room roughly the size, you can use it as a template or something to trace. You might also find one like this. We have these two sizes. I prefer the small one. It's not a big difference if you use the big one, but you're going to have both of your circles in there. And then this is ready to go. Okay, while I'm out, I'm going to review getting set up for paint. So you will need every day, you'll come in that we're painting, and you're going to have these daily supplies that you're going to get. So for one, you're going to have a Ziploc bag with your name on it. And you are going to get your own praying paint. You want to make sure it's the praying and not one like, if you end up with something with a blue bottom that looks like this with no name, run very quickly. Get away from it. It will not work. This is terrible watercolor. You want one with praying. You want to make sure, even if it's dirty, that's okay. You just want to make sure you have enough of all colors. So here I'm getting close to running out of red. I might have enough for this demo. Then you're going to get 3 sizes of brush, a large, medium, and a small. I would consider these a large, and I'm looking at the width across here. This would be a medium, and this would be a small. We do have much smaller ones over there. I won't be using those for this. That's really for detailed work. We probably won't even use the small one that much for this. But you're going to get a large, a medium, and a small brush, and your Ziploc. Now these are going to be checked out to you. You are going to keep them for the next week or 2. And then you will turn them in when you're done with this exercise or when you're done with another painting. You will be graded on how well you take care of these. Okay, this is to preserve our materials because you know how many materials are getting ruined. So if you don't return these 3 brushes and this paint in good order at the end of next week, you will be docked 50 points. You will get a 0. Make sure you take care of this stuff, okay? Then you're going to get 1 or 2 water glasses. I say that you want to fill your water glasses up with 2 fingers full of water. What does that mean? Well, when I put 2 fingers up here, it just shows me that I have about this much water. You don't want to fill your glass full of water. You want to just put a little bit of water in it, 1 or 2 fingers, maybe 3 at the most. That way, when we're soaking our brushes, the water's not coming up. When we're soaking our brushes, the water's not coming up and over this. Can you see how somebody's let that brush soak in water? See how it's starting to crack? It probably has 1 or 2 more soaks, and then this is going to all come apart and break. You can't let your brush soak in water that's really full. It has about 2 days before it's ruined. So see how the water's lower than the wood? That's okay. You can let it soak like that. But you don't want to set it. You never want a cup like this that's full and your brush is just setting in there full. That will ruin the brush. You have maybe 48 hours before it starts to fall apart. So 2 fingers of water. And then a big old wad of paper towels. Very important. You've got to have your paper towels to control your water. So how I set up, every time I set up the same. I'll put my cups here, and then I will have my wad of paper towels. I'll have one right by my water cups, because every time I clean, I'm patting that brush to control my water. How much water do I need? And you'll get used to that. Okay, maybe I'll put my brushes over here, and then I'll put my palette here. Okay, Now we're just going to prep the water, or prep the palette. So if you have any kind of paint up here that's not yours, you're going to want to clean it off. After you mix some, you can actually save it. Even though it's thin, you can still wet it and use it. But we're going to go ahead and wipe it clean. Right now I just have yellow and reds up there, so that's not a big deal. Those are easy to clean. But the last person that used this palette, you can see they did not clean it, and there's all this black in there. You really want to clean all your black out, or all your dark colors off really well, because it will change the way you clean your palette, or that will change how your color looks. Also, look at your different colors here, especially today where we're using the yellow, blue, and the red. If I have dirty colors in my paint, I can get those out really easy. And let me show you how. First off, you have to hydrate your watercolor. So watercolor is water soluble. It means it doesn't work without water. So the first thing we do is we spray our watercolors. I just spray a little water on there and just let that water soak in. It's hydrating it, so it's getting ready for us to use. Now, if you have contaminated colors, a lot of times the green will get in with the orange. If that's happening to you, tear off a little piece of paper towel, wet it slightly, and just lightly dab into that wettened watercolor. You want to dab lightly and just pull up a little bit. If you gouge in there and grab it, sure, it'll come up, but you've just wasted half of your paint. There's not a ton of paint in here, so we need to use it wisely, right? So again, there's little blues and stuff in that orange. Just going to dab a little wet on my paper towel. Oh, I got it in the black. I'm just going to lightly come in there and touch that, pull up that blue or black that's in the corner there, and then toss it. And so those are pretty ready to go. When you're done, this is your list. It's very important. You must clean your brushes with soap. Okay? That means that you're going to squirt soap right here in the palm of your hand. And then you're going to take your brush and the soap and you're going to do this. Shh, I don't have soap here. I'm not running over to the sink for you. But you have to have friction to get all the paint out of there. You have to rub it on your hand because we don't have something else to rub it on. Get it under there, rinse it out with water, and then you'll keep your brushes and your paint in your Ziploc bag and you'll store it in your cubbies, in your hour cubbies. And then you'll turn all that in a couple weeks. You'll need that for points. So, just to quickly go over what you'll need. You're going to have wax paper taped down and then neatly have your watercolor paper taped down. Then you're going to have your paint cleaned up and ready to go. You're going to have your water cups and your paper towels all right here ready to use. And then your your different size paintbrushes. And you might have to share a water bottle with somebody at the table. I don't know if we have enough water bottles for everybody. Okay, and that is your setup. Okay, next video we will start painting. Every day that you come in and we're doing watercolor, go ahead and get this set up right when you come in. Start getting it ready so we can roll pretty soon after class starts. Okay, guys? Okay, next video we're going to paint.